Welcome to the 7 Elements of Wellness, a talk series for smart aging. I'm Pooja Johari, and I'm the founder of 70 Wellness, and I hope to educate and empower you to take charge of your own health, wellness, and beauty. Today's topic is skincare for skin wellness. And I love this topic because from a very early age, I have been struggling with acne and dry and dehydrated skin condition. And so I used to try all different types of products, and I used to make homemade products from herbs and try and experiment on myself. And my skin became very resilient from all the experiments that I have done on it. I, of course, was also working on my diet and trying to figure out what I can do to improve my skin condition. And it is something that I really love until I developed MyoLift microcurrent series. And then I realized that all the products that are being used with the microcurrent were getting penetrated even deeper. So I became very sensitive to what goes in these products and everything. And it needs to be very clean. So today I have with me a very special guest. Her name is Katie, and she is a beauty influencer as well as an esthetician. Welcome, Katie, to
Hi.
7 Elements of Wellness.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So, Katie, can you please tell our audience what really inspired you to be part of this beauty industry, other than the fact that you are so beautiful?
That's very sweet. Um, I have been an esthetician for a little over a decade, and I actually got into it to do makeup initially. I thought I wanted to be a professional makeup artist, and I ended up doing that for a little bit throughout my career. But I thought if I was going to do that, I wanted to have some credentials behind me. And I went to aesthetic school, and while I was in school, fell in love with skincare. It was something that was always important to me. I always had very sensitive, reactionary skin. And I find that most estheticians have some sort of skin issue that they, similar to what you were saying,
Exactly.
that really kind of motivates us to figure out how to address it. And then in doing so, what we can do and what we can share with other people now that we've kind of conquered our own skin issues.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm so glad to hear that. And I wanted to bring up the first topic. What is skincare line or skincare routine that people need to follow? And I know that each one of us have a very unique way of dealing with our skin, but there is certain discipline that we need to hold so that our skin expects certain things and also have some kind of regime. I know I've heard this constantly, and I get asked all the time, what skincare routine do we have to follow along? So is there any advice there?
Well, I think that you made a really great point is that there isn't a one size fits all routine for every skin type and every skin concern. I think that, while I might do, 8+ steps and layer on multiple products, not everyone needs to do that at home. And I think that your starting point, your like maybe basic skincare routine, you need to cleanse your skin. Ideally, you follow up your cleanser with a toner, no matter what skin type you are, whether you're oily and acneic or have more mature skin and want to address anti-aging. Adding hydration into your skin to balance the pH not only is going to set you up for success so that all the other products you apply penetrate deeper, you'll use less product, and it really just helps hydrate the skin and make it healthy. And then you want to follow that up with at least a moisturizer. So cleanse, tone, moisturizer, and then sunscreen every single day.
Yes.
No matter what, whether it's raining outside, wear sunscreen. And then from there, you can kind of add things in as needed. So things like using a serum. Serums are concentrated, targeted treatments for your skin. There's a serum for anything that you can imagine. And so once you have a consistent kind of basic skincare routine, if there are things that you want to target and address, whether it's fine lines or brightening or environmental protection, that's where you would add in a serum.
I see. I see. So
Yeah.
I love that. So what you're saying is that every day we need to cleanse, we need to tone, we need to hydrate, moisturize, and then we need to apply SPF. Now I see that every morning when I do that, I also try to make sure that in the evening I take off that SPF. Otherwise, we sleep in with clogged pores and whatnot. Is that something you would recommend as well?
100%. So, sometimes I think people get a little lazy, or maybe, they're consistent with their morning skincare and less so at night. But your nighttime skincare routine is the most important part of your daily skincare routine, because your skin acts differently at night than it does during the day. And while we sleep, all the cells in our body regenerate. Yes. And so we want to set ourselves up for success so that we are creating fresh, healthy, new skin cells. And if there's a bunch of stuff on the surface, then it's going to kind of inhibit the effectiveness of these biological processes that are happening. Yeah. So for me, it might seem overwhelming for someone who is like having trouble just cleansing their skin at night. So if that's you, if you're like watching this at home and you're like, oh gosh, I can't even be bothered to cleanse, the next thing I'm going to say might feel very overwhelming for you. But a double cleanse in the evening is going to be the most effective way of removing the day from your skin and then actually cleansing it. And so that involves doing a first cleanse with an oil-based product, and then a second cleanse with a water-based product. And what that allows is that first cleanse lifts up all the dirt, debris, oil, sebum, little particles of funkiness that are hanging out on the surface of our skin. And then once that's removed, you're able to actually thoroughly cleanse your skin. Mm-hmm. I think that a double cleanse is necessary for someone who wears a lot of makeup, works out a lot throughout the day. Like maybe you're at the gym all the time, or maybe not now, but maybe you're an instructor. Maybe you're someone who's prone to breakouts and congestion, or you're someone who is forward facing. You have a job, with the public, and you're wearing protective face masks 8 hours a day. If you fall into those categories, a double cleanse, I think, is really necessary.
That's a really, really good point. I think that I've seen a lot of people, even when they are talking about microcurrent and use of that, they discuss that their face mask has created so much more difficult issues around their mouth area compared to what they had before. And so now it's a totally new way of looking at the skin routine and trying to include that wearing of the face mask as well. And I think you bring up a really good point that that double cleanse should really help.
Definitely. And like with face masks, they're not going away anytime soon. So if there's someone out there who is experiencing a lot of maskne or irritation or breakouts around their mouth from wearing protective face masks, I would suggest layering a silk mask underneath like a disposable, because it's a natural fiber. It creates less friction on the surface, and it doesn't trap bacteria and moisture the same way that a lot of the throwaway masks do, because a lot of them are made out of synthetic material. So it really just locks it in, not breathable at all. Exactly. And that's what really causes that buildup or issue in the skin.
So true. Now, Katie, I love that point. But when you are doing double cleansing at night, many times do you want to just let your skin and your the skin routine, the biological system and synthesis do its own job, or should we layer it up with moisturizer and a serum and all of that at night, you think?
So, if you have the wherewithal to use a couple extra products in the evening, that is the most effective time to use those anti-aging ingredients. So as I said before, your skin acts differently at night than it does during the day. So during the day, your skin is on defense. It's all about protecting itself. And in doing so, it's less permeable. So your topical serums don't actually penetrate quite as deep as they do in the evening. So daytime is a great time for antioxidants. Layer those underneath your sunscreen, vitamin C, things like that. At night is when you can really get into your peptides, your growth factors, plant stem cells, ingredients that are going to help advance and stimulate those natural processes in the skin. And because at night your skin lets its guard down, it's more permeable. So you're going to get more penetration of those products. And then if you're doing microcurrent at home, you're getting even more because you can use your water-based serums right underneath your conductivity gel.
Yes.
But nighttime is for anti-aging. I think like that's what I share with my clients. I do antioxidants in the morning and anti-aging in the evening. And you get more out of your skin that way.
Yeah, that is so brilliant. I never thought about that, but I think that naturally I was talking to a lot of estheticians since we work with them. We were discussing how when we are doing this in the nighttime and we bring the microcurrent or use the microcurrent at nighttime, it just enhances the results in the morning. You can see the plumpness, you can see the baby skin, and it just has a little more tight impact of having the microcurrent or any kind of anti-aging routine at night.
Definitely. Yeah. You wake up glowing.
Wonderful. So I wanted to summarize this just by saying that there should be a nighttime as well as a daytime routine. And I love the fact that you brought up that during the daytime, the skin is more on the guard, and that's when we should use an antioxidant product line. And at night, when it is more permeable, that's when we are doing the anti-aging routine. And part of that anti-aging routine, you suggested to have a double cleanse. That's brilliant. And that brings me to the second topic of asking you and discussing what is organic or clean product line. I see that in your social media handle, you have the organic esthetician, and it always intrigued me. I have always seen, of course, there are chemical-based products and there are plant-based products, and there are products that have absolutely no chemicals, at least in 7E, because we know that mild electromicrocurrent devices are constantly penetrating and pushing. We want to have more clean products that doesn't have the chemical, which is more for preservative kind of chemicals. We don't want to use those because we don't want to penetrate those. But in general, should we be constantly looking at the ingredients? What is your advice on that?
So it can get really overwhelming, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of ingredients out there. Half of them you can't pronounce. You don't know what they are. You don't know why they're in a product. Companies will say that they're clean, but then you're like, wait, but I thought I was supposed to avoid this, and it's in here, and it can just be very overwhelming. So the reason I put such a huge emphasis on clean and organic ingredients is because everything I do and everything that I promote topically with my skin and how I eat and my lifestyle most of the time, it's 80-20, but it's anti-inflammatory. So I want to reduce inflammation in the skin. And
Okay.
so I think that when it comes to clean beauty, a lot of times people are out there like, I don't care if it has chemicals in it, if it's going to work, if it's going to make my skin look better, like it doesn't matter to me. And so let's say that you're one of those people who doesn't care if there's chemicals in your product. Well, so in a formulation, you have these like amazing anti-aging peptides and some stem cells, and it's this firming serum, and you spend all of this money on it. But in that formulation, there are also things like PEGs or glycols or phenoxyethanol, or like all of these different ingredients that cause
Dimethical, yes.
they cause inflammation. So when you're using this product, your skin in your body is going to use all of its cellular energy to put out the fire. And there's not going to be a lot left over for all the fun things like collagen or hyaluronic acid synthesis. So by removing topical irritants, things that are going to cause irritation to the skin, a lot of these ingredients are known topical irritants. Like we know that when we use this, your skin gets angry, but it's also really good at negating microbes in the formula. So we're just going to add it in. And it really does your skin a disservice. So that's really important to me. And I try to communicate it that way to people because I feel like it's a little more relatable than, you know, maybe saying like, oh, well, that SPF is an endocrine disruptor. And they're like, I don't even know what my endocrine system does. Like, why do I care about that? Right. But there's a lot of ingredients out there that actually change the way your body reacts to and secretes hormones. And it can be wildly detrimental to the long-term health of not just your skin, but your body. And like we are our hormonal makeup, you know, like our hormones dictate when we eat, how well we sleep, how much energy we have, our ability to produce, sexuality, like all of these things. These are what hormones do. And so if we're using a product or 5 every single day for the lifespan of our, you know, decades of skincare routines, it's going to build up in the body and it's going to affect that process and change how we sleep and eat and procreate and all of these things. So
Absolutely.
it's really important.
Yes. You're so right about that. 7E, like our philosophy has been built up on this whole fact about how we are interconnected, the internal reflection of sleep and stress and all of that is reflecting on the skin. And yes, we need external help of exfoliation, product line, microcurrent, and all of that externally, but we also need to understand what internally is going on and how we can help. And the skin is so, as you say, permeable that the products are breathing in and out through the skin. And if we are putting in products that are not clean, it is going to eventually come up into different segments. And that's the reason, Katie, I started using Think Dirty. It's an app and it just tells us the scale of all these products and whether it's carcinogenic or whether it's disrupting our reproductive or hormonal issues and stuff like that. And I really, it has benefited in many ways.
Yeah, that's awesome that you do that. I always suggest like just the EWG, the environmental working groups. They have a section of their website called Skin Deep. And what happens is like companies reformulate their products fairly often. So maybe you're searching a product and they reformulated last month, but the database hasn't been updated yet. So it says it's dirtier than it is or cleaner than it is. Sure. So I always suggest looking at ingredients.
Sure.
Especially if something pops up that's like, oh, I don't know what that does. Why is that in here? And then the more you look at it, the more you're like, oh, it has sodium lauryl sulfate in it. Oh, I don't want that because that's going to, strip my natural lipid barrier. And you just kind of learn slowly because you're kind of seeing things repeat themselves in products. But
Yeah.
it can be very overwhelming. Another good place to start is just what is the toxic 12 list?
Okay.
You can Google that at home, and it's just the top 12 most commonly used toxic ingredients in personal care products.
Oh, that's a great one. Thank you. I'm going to make a note of that.
Yeah.
So I hear that what you're saying is anti-inflammation is really important, especially when we are bringing in so many products so that we can either hydrate or have anti-aging or moisturize. And people are trying to lather up so that they can really get to the point where their skin is moisturized and healthy and it has all those vitamins. It is important to look at the underlying ingredient list as well. Also, I've seen that many times companies and product line are listing and highlighting one product, which is really great in the marketing, but it is important to see the overall picture of it so that you can really get the benefit of that one ingredient instead of, as you said, fighting against all of those other ingredients that create inflammation. So that's really a great point. And that brings me to the last topic, which is we all have our favorites. And my favorite has always been microcurrent since I have come up with it, and I use it almost daily, and I use it with our serums, our EGF, sheet mask, and all of those. And I love when it reflects in my skin, and I love because my skin feels like it has got a fresh breath of energy. What is your favorite, and what is your favorite routine and product that you use?
Well, I mean, I love microcurrent. I use it all of the time on myself and on my clients. I think that every facial should include it. As long as you're not contraindicated for it, it's one of the best modalities, not just for lifting and contouring or minimizing fine lines, but as you said, just that increase of cellular energy, which is going to make your skin function optimally. It really sets you up for success. I also love oxygen, like doing an oxygen infusion in the treatment room. That's something that there's no contraindication. You can use it on any skin type. And I see such amazing results. And the combination of microcurrent with oxygen is really lovely.
Nice.
And then as far as like ingredients or products that I use daily, I think, adding in a vitamin C is a really easy way to transform your skin and check a lot of boxes. So something like L-ascorbic acid, which can be a little irritating if you are using it incorrectly or too strong or too much too soon, but it stimulates collagen. It has the ability to protect from environmental stressors. It has UV protection in it. It helps treat breakouts. It hydrates the skin. It does a little bit of everything, just like some of these other modalities. So adding in a vitamin C in the morning is a really great time to use it. But what's so great about vitamin C, and especially like stronger concentrations, so say like a 15% L-ascorbic acid, the clinical studies show that it actually shows up in the skin or hangs out in the skin for up to 24 hours. So
Oh,
if it's
wow.
something that you're not, great at doing every day, you could do it every other day and still have the benefits because it's in the skin, giving you all of those amazing qualities. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really great information. And Thank you so much for being part of this series and being part of the 7 elements of well-being. I think that we've learned so much from what you just shared, and I think this is going to be really great.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you for having me. I love talking about skincare. I could do this all day. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, your passion shows that. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.